Hey everybody, how's it going? It's your boy ExtrmWill with Extreme Tech. We're gonna do another Salad AI video. They sent out the survey. They sent this out probably a couple days ago. I finally got around to it, but I figured I would go through and cover kind of where I thought stuff should be and the pricing. I don't think this is. It's not really what I was expecting from the survey. I thought this was going to be like a yes or no. Do you think the pricing is good enough or not good enough? Because that's kind of how most of their surveys have been. I didn't think this was going to be something you're actually going to fill out. So we're going to begin off with a couple of little caveats to this for what my answers are. My thought on this isn't necessarily how much you're making per hour, because I don't really compute it like that. I look at this more grand scale. So in that, my thought is how much is it making per day? So I actually wrote down about how much I thought it should be making per day, and then I used that to calculate out what I think it should be making per hour. I focused more on the cards that I feel a little bit stronger, and then some of the ones I guess I don't feel as strongly about. I just kind of filled it in the middle between the ones that I thought it should. I feel a bit stronger about. These prices are also including your the CPU usage with 40 gigabytes of RAM, because those are other scales that do tend to matter. So that's just kind of how I figured it out. Because if you look at their actual pricing, I didn't bring that one up. There's a lot of different variables in their pricing. There's the demand level, which I thought was kind of cool, but I don't know how much I really like it. I mean, I think I'd prefer if it was closer to the old scale where you just get paid kind of like what you're getting paid, not this sometimes we're paying you this, sometimes we're paying you that kind of thing. I understand you got to get work where you can find work, so I didn't take this and put this versus what people are making on other marketplaces or anything like that. So I have no clue what people are making on other marketplaces. In order to stay competitive and to get work, like, these prices don't necessarily work, but they're asking me how much I want. So I'm replying with how much I want, not what I think the actual market value is right now, because to be honest, I don't really know what the actual market value is. So those are my caveats. So if we go through the cards, the first one is the 4090. I think for my 4090s, I should be making at least $6 a day. I think, the card is really, really expensive, takes a lot of electricity. In order for that to really be working, I think it really needs to be making 21 cents or 25 cents per hour. That comes out to $6 even. You multiply it by 24. But yeah, I think with the whole package, my machines with the 4090s really need to be making $6 a day. Anything less than $6 a day does kind of feel like a real kidney punch. I wasn't paying enough attention. It says you're only supposed to fill it out for the cards that you have. I don't actually have a 3090 Ti, but I felt like that should still. It's an older card. It's a very strong card, but it is an older card, so I thought putting it in at 22 cents, just 1 cent above the 3090, seemed like it would be a good spot to put it. Still 3 cents under the 4090. So yeah, 22 cents. I put it at $5.28 a day. So I mean, you're still getting paid a pretty good amount for it. I think it's still a pretty decent premium-ish card, but it's nowhere near the 4090. It shouldn't be making really what the 4090 is, but it's still kind of close in that tier. I think it's better than 3090, which is the next one. So 3090, I have at 21 cents per hour. That puts it at $5.04 a day. I do kind of feel like the 3090 should still be making. I'd like the 3090s to be making about $5 a day. I'm okay with a little less than that. Like, I don't think in order to keep them working is more important to me, but I'd like to be making about $5 a day in the 3090s. They take a lot of electricity. They're real strong cards. They're still pretty good for all this compute work stuff. So they're still much better than a lot of the than the vast majority of the 40 series cards for the compute work because they have so much more VRAM than they do. So then the 4080, I don't have a 4080, so I probably shouldn't have even filled this one out. I didn't look at it until later. But I feel like the 4080 and the 4070 Ti Super, those are both like $1,000 cards. I think they're pretty similar. So I figured I'd put them just both in at 20 cents. So just a little bit less than the 3090, because to my understanding, I don't think they're actually as good at the compute as the 3090 is. I don't think there's like a huge drop off, but I do think there is a little bit of a drop off. So I put those at 20 cents for both of them, for the 4080 and the 4070 Ti Super. So that would put both of those at $4.80 a day for both of those. The next one, the 4070 Ti, I have two 4070 Ti's, so I felt about 18 cents a day. Felt like that would be pretty equivalent with the way I'm doing all of this. So I felt like the 4070 Ti, that would put it at $4.32 a day. So it is a little bit more than like the 4070 and the 4060 Ti, but it's still, I mean, it's got to be like 2 cents less than the 4070 Ti Super. The 4070 Ti Super has, and the 4080, they have the 16 gigabytes of VRAM, whereas the 4070 Ti has the, oh, I'm blanking on it now. That might only be, oh man, I don't remember. The 4070 Ti Super has the same amount as the 4070, which I can't remember how much VRAM it has right offhand, but it's not necessarily as good for all of this compute work. And then I like part of the basis of this, I went to like the bigger cards. So the 4060 Ti, the 16 gigabyte variant, which I'm pretty sure this is what they're asking, which is why they put this above the 4070. I'm pretty sure this is the 16 gigabyte variant. I think this should be making 17 cents an hour, and I figured I'd put the 4070 in also at 17 cents an hour. The cards are, for the most part, very similar. I think the 4070 is a little bit stronger, but it doesn't have as much VRAM. I'm not sure for certain if the 4060 Ti is actually a stronger compute card than the 4070 is, because the 4070 is actually a stronger card. It just doesn't have as much VRAM. So I want to say I think it's about a wash for them on which one's actually stronger, which one's not. I figured they should both be about the same. But at that 17 cents an hour, that would put the 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte card and the 4070 both at $4.08 a day, which I thought seemed like it was about right. And then if we start moving down the tier, 3080 Ti, I don't actually have one of these, but I figured this should be at about 15 cents per hour. You shouldn't be getting that 40 series card kind of money with it, because it's down to I want to say, is it 12 gigabytes of VRAM? I want to say, I think it's 12. So I thought at 15 cents per hour, that should be pretty decent what you should be expecting. It's an older card, so that would put it at $3.60. And then the regular 3080, I thought we're gonna step down a bit more from that too. I have two 3080s. I had three 3080s running at one point. I think I have two 3080s still. Yeah, I still have two 3080s. So I thought at 13 cents per hour seemed to be pretty fair. That should put it at $3.12. So like if somebody did want to save some money but still wanted a really strong card, you're still, kind of getting what you're paying for. Here, I will say, is probably one of the bigger discrepancies I would say I put in this. Because I'm assuming this 3060, you're running the 12 gigabyte card, not the 6 gigabyte card. I would say there's a massive difference in that. I figured for the 3070, you should be getting about 10 cents an hour, which would put it at $2.40. And then the 3060 12 gigabyte card should be at 11 cents an hour, which would put it at $2.64. As I'm pretty sure, because of the VRAM difference from the 3060 to the 3070, I think the 3060 is actually significantly better at this kind of work than the 3070 is. I think the 3070 is actually like not very good at this kind of work. I mean, it's still a strong card. It can get it done. It still deserves to be making, I think, significantly more than it is making right now. I mean, it should be making more than like $1. I think it's still a very good, competent, capable card. But I think that the 3060, from what I've seen, is actually a much stronger, better card at this kind of stuff. So I think the 3060 should actually be making more. So I put the 3060 12 gigabyte card at 11 cents and the 3070 at 10 cents. So those are all my numbers. I'm going to post this all down below in the comments. So if you don't really want to watch the whole video to see what I wrote in, that's kind of my thoughts. You are all more than welcome to disagree with me. But my caveats for this is that it's including your CPU usage and your RAM. This is what I would want to actually be making and taking home, not the breakdown per card. When you look at their page, the Salad AI page, maybe I can bring it up really quickly here. Salad AI calculator. Yeah, when you look at their page, this is just the numbers for just the GPU. And then you have the slider for how many CPU cores you have. And then you also have the slider for how much memory you're getting. And then you also have the slider for your priority. So if you rent just a 4090 right here, it says you're paying 18 cents. But you're not paying 18 cents because you're not buying this with 1 gigabyte of memory. You're going to buy this with the 30 gigabytes of memory. And you're going to put it on probably a priority. Probably going to want it at a high priority. And I probably want more than one core. So, I mean, you could theoretically, if somebody wants to, they could be paying you right now like 40 cents an hour. So my thought on this is to put this basically like here. And then I believe, do I have the 4090? Is that 25 cents? Yeah, it's still at 25 cents. And then if we look at, let's say, the 4060 Ti, yeah, on here this says this is the 16 gigabyte card. So these are all the ones they've listed on here. So you can actually see how many gigabytes there. So the 4080 and the 4060 Ti said, yeah, they're both the 16 gigabytes. The 4070 Ti and the 4070 are 12 gigabytes. Yeah, 3090s are both there. The 3080 Ti, yeah, it's 12 gigabyte. I knew it was more. I think that's what I said, I thought, in the video. 3080 is 10. And then the 3070 is 8. And then I assumed, I guess this does have both of them. My assumption, though, is for the 3060 16 gigabytes. So let's look at some of these other major cards. The other one I always would say would be the 4060 Ti. So the same thing for the 4060 Ti right now. They would have it at about 17 cents an hour, whereas I put the 4060 Ti at 17. Yeah, I put it at the same thing. And then let's get the 3060 12 gigabyte card. They have it at 10 cents. Whereas I have it at 11 cents. So I think my actual pricing on this lined up pretty well with theirs. It's probably a little bit more, but I am assuming this with just one core, 30 gigabytes at low priority. I did not realize that. My numbers actually matched up pretty perfectly with that. So, yeah, that's... I don't think the pricing is that unreasonable. I just assume right now this is kind of what and how everybody should be ordering and or is ordering. If they want to pay less, if they don't necessarily feel like they need all of the memory or the priority and they want to pay you a little bit less, they pay you a little bit less. But that is kind of amusing how that wound up to line up to be. But I do think should be a little bit more. I think, you know, I don't mind that they let the customer choose how much memory they want. If they're going to buy a, you know, one of the older 30 series cards, I wouldn't doubt it one bit if they are going to get significantly less on the memory to calculate it out. Well, I guess, no, my numbers are different. Because that is how much Salad is getting paid. So I think Salad should actually be charging 20% more for everything because Salad takes a 20% cut out of that. So I want what Salad is actually charging for everything right now to be going to me, and I want Salad to be charging about 20% more to take their cut. I want, yeah. So, I don't know if Salad is able to charge 20% more and still get any work, because it still seems like nothing is being rented. You know, I think I'm still below 50% being rented. So, you can take all of this completely with a giant, massive grain of salt. It's all just whatever. And if we take a real quick look, oh, no, that's not the screen I wanted. Do I have it up on here? I have it up on here. What I made for the last 24 hours, so I'm not going to do a video right now. It's been between 24 cents and about 41 cents, so it's $34. I may do a full earnings video when I get home tonight. We'll see how I feel. But yeah, that's kind of what I put in for all these numbers. You can feel free to disagree in the comments down below. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe, come on back, and I'll see you next time. Peace.